My name is Sarah Mitchell. I'm 28 years old, and in exactly 43 minutes I am going to destroy the man I thought I would spend the rest of my life with, standing here in my $112,000 Vera Wong wedding dress, looking at my reflection in the mirror of the Plaza Hotel's bridal suite. I barely recognized myself anymore a month ago. I was just another successful Harvard graduate, living the Manhattan dream, youngest senior investment banker at Goldman Sachs, owner of a stunning Upper East Side penthouse, and engaged to who I thought was the perfect man. Now I'm about to become the woman who turned New York's wedding of the year into a spectacle no one will ever forget. The past 3 weeks have been a masterclass in acting, pretending everything was perfect while I meticulously planned every detail of my revenge. You see, I wasn't always this calculated or cold. Just a month ago, I was Sarah Mitchell, a successful 28-year-old investment banker at Goldman Sachs, madly in love with James Harrison, the charming corporate lawyer I met at a charity gala 3 years ago. We were Manhattan's golden couple, young, successful, and seemingly perfect for each other. James proposed on a private yacht during sunset last year with a 4-carat diamond ring that made all my friends gasp. We spent a year planning this $300,000 wedding, and I truly believed I was living my own fairy tale. Until that rainy Tuesday night when my entire world shattered into a million pieces. I remember every excruciating detail of that evening. I was working late at the office, finalizing some documents for a major merger, when I received an anonymous email. Usually I'd ignore such things, but the subject line made my blood run cold. Your fiancé isn't who you think he is. Attached were dozens of photos and text messages between James and my maid of honor, Rebecca, my best friend since college. The timestamps showed their affair had been going on for over 8 months. The messages were explicit, detailing their encounters in our apartment while I was traveling for work, their secret weekends in the Hamptons, and their plans to continue their relationship even after our wedding. But what broke me wasn't just the physical betrayal. It was their cruel jokes about me, their mockery of my trust, and their complete disregard for the life I thought I was building that night. As rain pounded against my office windows and thunder rolled across the New York sky, something inside me changed. The naive, trusting woman who believed in true love died, and in her place rose someone else, someone stronger, colder, and determined to make them pay. I didn't confront them immediately. Instead, I began gathering more evidence, hiring a private investigator who uncovered even more betrayals. James hadn't just been sleeping with Rebecca. There were others, including one of his junior associates at the law firm, but Rebecca's betrayal cut the deepest. She had been by my side through everything, helping me pick out my wedding dress, planning my bachelorette party, and all the while sleeping. I stand here now in this exquisite ballroom, watching the guests arrive in their finest attire. I can't help but smile at what's about to unfold. The evidence is ready. Hundreds of copies of photos, text messages, and hotel receipts are sealed in elegant envelopes matching our wedding invitations perfectly. The videographer is in position, ready to capture every moment of the destruction I'm about to unleash. Even the string quartet has been instructed to keep playing no matter what happens. In less than an hour, I'm going to walk down that aisle, but instead of saying I do, I'm gonna expose every dirty secret, every lie, and every betrayal. In front of everyone. They know people always say revenge is a dish best served cold, but I prefer to think of it as an art form that requires perfect timing and flawless execution. The past 3 weeks have been a master class in deception. Something I learned I'm surprisingly good at. Who would have thought my experience in corporate strategy would come in handy for orchestrating the perfect revenge? It all started the morning after I discovered their betrayal. I remember staring at my reflection in the bathroom, mirror, tears streaming down my face, when something inside me just clicked. Instead of confronting them immediately, I decided to play the long game. I hired the city's best private investigator, Michael Torres, expensive at $500 per hour, but worth every penny. While I maintained my routine, kissing James goodbye each morning and discussing wedding details with Rebecca over lunch, Michael was uncovering a web of lies that went far deeper than I could have imagined. The evidence he gathered was like a punch to the gut. Not only had James and Rebecca been carrying on their affair for 8 months, but they had also been planning their future together. A joint account at Chase Manhattan Bank, a recently purchased condo in Miami, and this one made me laugh through my tears. Couples therapy sessions to work through their guilt. The same therapist, by the way, who had been counseling James and me about pre-wedding jitters. The irony would be delicious if it wasn't so painful, but the real gold mine came from James's law firm. Through some careful manipulation and a generous payment to a disgruntled employee, I obtained emails showing James had been embezzling from the firm's client accounts. My darling fiancé had been funding his lavish lifestyle with Rebecca using stolen money. Those romantic getaways to the Hamptons paid for with embezzled funds. The Cartier bracelet he gave her for their 6-month anniversary. Same story. The prestigious law firm of Harrison and Associates would be very interested in these findings. Right after I'm done with my wedding ceremony 2 weeks ago, I began what I like to call psychological warfare. Small things at first taking longer to respond to their messages, being slightly distant during dinner, making cryptic comments about loyalty during wedding planning meetings. I watched as their confidence slowly crumbled into unease. Rebecca started asking more questions about my mood changes, while James became increasingly nervous, checking my phone when he thought I wasn't looking. During our final wedding dress fitting last week, Rebecca broke down in tears, claiming she was just so happy for me. I hugged her tight and whispered that everything would come out perfectly. In the end, the fear in her eyes was palpable. She knew something wasn't right, but couldn't quite put her finger on it. 3 days ago, I implemented phase 2 of my plan. Anonymous tips were sent to several of James's colleagues about financial irregularities. In his cases, the managing partners scheduled an audit for Monday, the day after our wedding. Perfect timing, wouldn't you say? I also made sure Rebecca's boss at her prestigious PR firm would receive a detailed dossier about her ethical conduct. First thing Monday morning, their worlds wouldn't just crash at the wedding, the aftermath would destroy everything they've built. Last night at our rehearsal dinner at Leerdam, I watched them squirm as I raised my glass for a toast to truth. I said, my eyes locked with James's, and to karma. His hand trembled as he lifted his champagne glass. Rebecca excused herself to the bathroom twice, her face pale and drawn. They could sense something was coming, but had no idea what was about to hit them. Now, as I make final adjustments to my veil, everything is in place. The videographer, actually an investigative journalist from the New York Post, is positioned perfectly. Every major news outlet in the city has received an anonymous tip about a society wedding gone wrong at the plaza today. The evidence packages are hidden beneath every guest seat, ready to be discovered at just the right moment. In less than an hour, I'll walk down that, but instead of saying I do, I'm going to give them a show. They'll never forget the wedding. March begins to play, and I can feel my heart racing, not with pre-wedding jitters, but with pure adrenaline. My father takes my arm, completely unaware that he's about to witness his daughter orchestrate the most dramatic takedown in Plaza Hotel history. You look beautiful, sweetheart, he whispers. If only he knew what was hidden beneath my bouquet of white roses. A small remote control that would trigger everything I've planned. The doors to the grand ballroom open, and I begin my walk down the aisle. 250 pairs of eyes turn to admire the blushing bride, their phones raised to capture what they think will be a magical moment. James stands at the altar, handsome in his custom Tom Ford tuxedo, smiling that perfect smile that once made my heart skip a beat. Now it just makes my stomach turn. Rebecca stands to the left with the other bridesmaids wearing the